enough.
No, exactly. But the culture of it says it's the same everywhere you go. Talk about how you guys get the culture aspect the same.
Yeah, so, culture is one of the most important things for us because, anybody, when they walk into a restaurant, they can feel the culture, whether it's good, bad. So we want to make sure it's always a good culture. We, take a lot of pride in what we do. That's part of our culture is pride. We always want to give back. Charity is also part of our culture.
Yes, you guys do give back a lot.
Yes, sir. And as well as just having a great place to work. We want our employees to feel like they're part of a family and they're excited to come to work.
Okay, so let's run down a list of locations that you guys have.
Okay, so we are in 8 states. So we can start in Virginia. We are in Midlothian, Glen Allen, Fredericksburg, Charlottesville, Colonial Heights, and Chantilly.
Okay.
And we have a Sedona and a Napa in Midlothian. So I think it's 8 restaurants in Virginia. We have 2 in Pennsylvania, 1 in Phoenixville, 1 in Westchester.
I grew up not too far from Phoenixville.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I grew up down at a town called Lansdale, right outside of Philly.
Oh, nice. We actually have 2 more locations opening in that area, a Sedona and our first Napa franchise. Then we are in New Jersey, Cliffside Park, Mamaroneck, New York, Norwalk, Connecticut, Novi, Michigan, and Troy, Michigan. Oh, and 2 Lexington locations in Kentucky and Nashville, Tennessee.
The guys from NASCAR were just here earlier. They would have been super proud of you coming down with the rundown. I mean,
Okay.
because, when the driver gets out of the car, hey, I'd like to thank the Shell Pennzoil, and they go right down. But congratulations for that.
Thank you.
When you guys go to a location, to an area, how do you determine which one it's going to be?
So, there's a lot that goes into it. Obviously, you look at the demographics, who's living around there. Is it somebody who would be interested in that type of concept, that type of restaurant? Obviously, foot traffic. Is it somewhere that people walk to accessibly? Is it somewhere you have to drive to? Do we need parking? One of our locations in Kentucky is in a hotel.
Okay.
So, there's kind of different variables. We have a location that's in a mall. So we kind of just look around, try to find the unique, cool locations. We always try to have a patio. Cause that's
You guys have a cool patio.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
we try to do that at every one of our locations.
So shout out to Westchester Commons is where we first met there. You have 2 locations there in Westchester.
Yes, sir.
You have Sedona and you have Napa.
Yes.
So when I was there before, the first times, I saw the big wine. Hey, that's the name. And then you showed me the machine with the bourbon whiskey.
Yeah.
That's a pretty cool concept. So explain to the listeners. Okay, hold on a sec, man. I got to give you the clap from that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so explain to the listeners what that is.
Yeah, so it's an enomatic machine. So basically, it has room for, I believe, 6 or 8 bottles, and it's made for wine. So you put the wine bottles in there, and it has like a little stopper, so it keeps it fresh. And it's a self-serve machine, essentially. So you stick your card in there, a prepaid amount on a card, stick it in there, and you can get samples, full glasses, whatever you'd like. So we think, wow, that's great with wine. Why not put high-quality bourbon in there, hard to get stuff. So we go through, different types of bottles. Weller, we have Pappy, all the Buffalo Trace family. We try to get some Elijah Craig. All those big names we try to get in so people can come in and taste it, experience it for themselves.
Had you guys seen that somewhere? Or
No.
you just thought that one up?
Yeah.
Whose crazy idea was that?
So that was my dad's, of course.
Okay, so when he said it, what were you guys saying?
Well, he loves bourbon. He has a huge bourbon collection
Okay.
himself, and we were actually renovating the bar at NAPA to make it more effective. So we actually took out a couple machines, and he was like, well, I'm going to take one to my house, and I'm going to put bourbon in there.
Okay.
And then he thought, well, why don't we do that in the restaurant?
Okay, so when people walk in, the name, as you let me know, Napa Kitchen and Wine.
Yes.
Lauren, are we still good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right, so Napa Kitchen and Wine, it has a kitchen and has wine. And then when people see the bourbon station, what's the look on people's faces?
Oh, they get excited.
Yeah, I bet they
get
do.
Very excited.
And so do they ask, like, what's that?
Yeah, sometimes we definitely get questions about it. We get questions about both machines, the wine and the bourbon.
Yeah, because we're, kind of people, of my, I got a few miles on me. You may not be able to tell. But that's a new thing. It's
Yeah.
like, but all of a sudden, it's a new twist to a new thing because now you're able to go up and try. Maybe you don't buy that at the price point where you're like, well, maybe I would try it.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the opportunity to try it.
Exactly. And plus, it's, the way the ABC lottery works, it's hard to get some of these sought after bottles. So it's great when we're able to get those and put them up there so people who have been looking for them can come in and try them.
So shout out to you guys for the community work that you do.
Thank you.
And Westchester Commons, the music series, shout out to Mark Bowen. And talk about why that's so important to the organization.
Yeah, so, just community and charity is huge for us. Westchester was our first Sedona Tap House 11 years ago.
Okay.
So, obviously, we have deep roots in that shopping center. We have our newest concept there. Our first NAPA is there as well. So, we definitely always want to help them out. When they reach out to us, hey, can you guys help us with this concert series? Of course. It's a great time. You get to listen to music.
Sit on the patio.
Exactly.
The patio is kind of like prime real estate.
Yes.
It is. Because everybody else is sitting out there in those lawn chairs that they got from the Five and Below store.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, but you guys have the food truck.
Exactly.
And that's what you guys are doing there. Alrighty, we talked, so on the mic, the best part about the show is I get to talk to experts. So we talked before about how things make it to the menu.
Yeah. And
sometimes things don't stay.
Yes.
I kind of was like the guy that things I like on the menu, they sort of go away. Man, why did you do me like that? Well, clearly not enough people were like me.
Typically.
So talk about how something gets to the menu, and then sometimes things have to go.
So yeah, typically we will try something out on our specials board.
You told me to see. Yeah. I learned that the last time.
Exactly.
There you go.
So we run those typically about 2 to 3 weeks. And so we'll, obviously test the recipe out. We have a little focus group try it. If that's good, we'll put it on the specials board. And then if it does well on the specials board, once it's time to do our seasonal menu change, we'll typically throw that on there. It is the case that sometimes an item will perform super well on the specials board, but once you put it on the menu...
You told me that.
Yep, it's kind of crazy how it works, but I think once it's out of that direct view of being on that small special menu, people sometimes overlook it.